Daniel Carter's earliest memories were steeped in the shadows of struggle. Growing up in a dilapidated two-bedroom apartment on the rough side of Philadelphia, Daniel learned the harsh realities of life at an early age. His mother, Maria Carter, worked double shifts as a waitress just to put food on the table, while his father, absent more often than not, drifted in and out of their lives. The weight of poverty pressed down on Daniel's shoulders like an invisible chain, yet within him burned a fierce determination to break free. At night, while his friends played video games or hung out on street corners, Daniel sat by the dim glow of a second-hand lamp, devouring books he'd borrowed from the local library. He read about business tycoons, self-made millionaires, and real estate moguls who had risen from nothing. Their stories ignited a fire in his heart. If they could achieve greatness, so could he. In school, Daniel's grades were exceptional, not because of natural talent, but because of relentless effort. Teachers took notice of the boy who stayed late to ask questions, whose notebooks were filled with detailed notes and ambitious plans for the future. By the time he graduated high school, Daniel had earned a scholarship to study business at a local university. But success did not come easy. Balancing classes with part-time jobs to cover what the scholarship couldn't, Daniel sacrificed sleep and social life to stay on track. While his peers enjoyed college parties and weekend getaways, Daniel pored over real estate textbooks, financial reports, and market trends. His goal was clear: to build a real estate empire that would lift him from the shadows of his past and ensure he'd never experience poverty again. Nothing, not loneliness, exhaustion, or the doubts of others, could deter him. By the time he graduated, Daniel had already secured an internship with a prominent real estate firm, laying the foundation for the empire he dreamed of building. Yet, beneath his success, the seeds of obsession had begun to take root. Daniel's rise through the ranks of the real estate world was swift and relentless. Armed with ambition, intelligence, and an unyielding work ethic, he quickly made a name for himself as a skilled negotiator and sharp investor. Within a few years, he had climbed from intern to junior partner at a prestigious firm, closing deals that others deemed impossible. But success came at a price. Long hours at the office became the norm. Weekends disappeared into endless meetings and networking events. Daniel's phone buzzed constantly with calls from clients, colleagues, and investors, each message more urgent than the last. Determined to seize every opportunity, he poured every ounce of energy into his career, convinced that the sacrifices would one day pay off. Yet, as his bank account grew, his personal life began to wither. Calls from his mother went unanswered more often than not. Invitations to family gatherings were met with polite refusals, always the same excuse: "I've got work." His younger sister Chloe, once his closest confidant, grew distant as Daniel became a stranger to her world. The greatest casualty of his ambition, however, was his relationship with Annie Reynolds. Annie had been Daniel's rock during his college years, a source of love, laughter, and unwavering support. She believed in his dreams, even when others doubted him. But as Daniel's career consumed more of his time, their relationship began to fray. Dinners were missed, date nights canceled, and heartfelt conversations replaced by brief, distracted phone calls. Annie tried to understand, tried to hold on, but the man she loved was slipping away. One rainy evening, after yet another canceled dinner, Annie stood in Daniel's sleek, modern apartment, the home he had worked so hard to afford, and delivered the words that shattered his world. "I can't do this anymore, Daniel. I love you, but I feel like I'm competing with your ambition, and I'm always losing." Daniel stood speechless, the weight of her words sinking into his chest like a stone. He wanted to argue, to promise that things would change, but deep down, he knew the truth. His dream had become his obsession, leaving no room for love, family, or friendship. As Annie walked out the door, her footsteps echoing down the hallway, Daniel was left alone with the realization that success, without someone to share it with, felt hollow. Yet, even as regret gnawed at the edges of his heart, the voice of ambition whispered louder still: "There will be time for love later. Build your empire first." And so, Daniel returned to his desk, eyes fixed on the skyline beyond his window, unaware that the price of his dreams had only begun to be paid. One fateful evening, after closing a multi-million-dollar deal, Daniel collapsed from exhaustion and stress. Rushed to the hospital, he drifted into unconsciousness. But in this state of limbo, Daniel experienced a vivid dream that felt more real than any moment in his waking life. In this dream, Daniel was not the powerful tycoon he had strived to become. Instead, he found himself living in a modest yet beautiful home with a loving wife named Emily and 2 children, 8-year-old Tommy, full of curiosity, and 5-year-old Sandy, who idolized his father. Laughter echoed through the halls as the family shared meals, played games, and supported one another. For the first time in years, Daniel felt a profound sense of peace. The weight of deadlines and competition melted away, replaced by the warmth of unconditional love. He played catch with Tommy in the backyard, helped Sandy with her school projects, and spent quiet evenings on the porch with Emily, watching the sunset. The world moved slower here, each moment rich with meaning. Though Daniel knew this was a dream, part of him longed to stay, to trade the relentless pursuit of wealth for the simple joys of family and connection. Yet, deep down, a faint whisper of his ambition lingered, reminding him of the empire he had built and the sacrifices that had shaped his life. As the dream unfolded, Daniel stood at a crossroads, torn between the life he had built and the life he never knew he needed. Daniel's dream deepened, revealing vivid memories of a life filled with love and laughter. He saw the day he met Emily, a chance encounter at a local bookstore where their hands brushed while reaching for the same novel. Their first date was at a cozy cafe where they talked for hours, discovering shared dreams and laughter that felt like home. Flashes of their wedding day painted the air with warmth. The joy in Emily's eyes as she walked down the aisle, the cheers of family and friends as they shared their first dance. Next came the birth of Sandy, her first cry echoing in the delivery room as Daniel held her tiny hand, overwhelmed by the love coursing through him. Then Tommy arrived, a bundle of energy and wonder, completing their family. Moments of everyday life wove together. A picnic at the park with the children chasing butterflies, movie nights with popcorn and blankets, and Sunday mornings filled with laughter as they made pancakes in the kitchen. He saw himself teaching Sandy to ride her bike, her triumphant smile lighting up the world. He heard Tommy's giggles as they built sandcastles at the beach, the sun warming their faces. Holidays brought scenes of warmth, decorating the Christmas tree together, carving pumpkins at Halloween, and summer barbecues surrounded by friends and family. Each moment was vivid and tangible, filling Daniel with a joy he hadn't realized he longed for. As the dream continued, Daniel stood with Emily on the porch of their home, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of gold and crimson. Her hand slipped into his, their fingers entwined, and for the first time in years, Daniel felt whole. Yet beneath the serenity, a faint whisper echoed, the reminder of the life he had left behind. Caught between 2 worlds, Daniel faced the ultimate choice: return to the relentless pursuit of success or embrace the life he never knew he needed. Suddenly, Daniel awoke in the hospital, his heart pounding. The sterile walls and beeping monitors were a harsh contrast to the warmth of his dream. As he processed what had happened, tears filled his eyes, not from fear, but from clarity. He was alone, no one was there. He had pushed everyone away. Upon his recovery, Daniel made a decision that surprised everyone. He scaled back his business, focusing on a few meaningful projects instead of relentless expansion. He reconnected with old friends, started attending family gatherings, and slowly began mending the relationships he had neglected. For the first time in years, he prioritized happiness and human connection over wealth and success, determined not to let ambition consume him again. Months after his recovery, Daniel found himself at a backyard barbecue hosted by an old friend. The air buzzed with laughter and the aroma of grilled food. As Daniel sipped his drink, his gaze fell upon a woman across the yard, and his heart stopped. It was her, Emily. But this time, she wasn't a dream. Emily stood beneath the warm glow of string lights, her auburn hair cascading over her shoulders. Her emerald green eyes sparkled as she laughed, and her smile seemed to light up the world around her. She wore a simple white sundress adorned with blue floral patterns, the fabric swaying gently with the breeze. Her presence was both graceful and effortless, and Daniel felt as if the air had shifted. Without hesitation, he approached her, his pulse quickening with each step. Their eyes met, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. Then, with a nervous smile, Daniel introduced himself. To his relief, Emily responded warmly, and soon they found themselves deep in conversation. Time seemed to slow as they exchanged stories and laughter, their connection undeniable. Before the night ended, Daniel gathered the courage to ask Emily to coffee. She agreed, and they exchanged numbers, their fingers brushing as they did, sending a jolt of warmth through Daniel's chest. 2 days later, they met at a cozy cafe tucked away from the city's bustle. The air was thick with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and baked pastries. Seated across from each other, Daniel decided to lay his heart bare. "Emily, I need to be honest with you," he began, his hands nervously clasped together. "There was a time when my entire life revolved around success, no matter the cost. I worked endlessly, pushing everyone away, until it nearly killed me. The night I collapsed, I had a dream of you, our children, and the life we built together. It felt so real, like a glimpse of what my life could be if I chose love and family over ambition." Emily listened intently, her eyes reflecting empathy and curiosity. Encouraged by her silence, Daniel continued, "I never thought I'd actually meet you, but here you are. I know this might sound crazy, but I couldn't let this moment pass without telling you. You, this life I saw, it gave me the clarity I needed to change. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I don't want to go another day without seeing where this could lead." For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then Emily reached across the table, placing her hand over his. Her touch was warm, grounding him in the present. "I don't think it's crazy," she said softly. Sometimes life has a way of bringing us exactly where we need to be." As their fingers intertwined, Daniel felt a profound sense of hope bloom within his chest. For the first time in years, he believed he had found not only the future he dreamed of, but the love that would make it all worthwhile. 1 year later, Daniel and Emily stood beneath a canopy of blooming cherry blossoms, surrounded by friends and family. The air was filled with the soft strains of music and the gentle rustle of leaves. Emily looked radiant in an ivory lace gown that shimmered in the sunlight, her auburn hair swept into an elegant updo. Daniel, dressed in a tailored navy blue suit, couldn't take his eyes off her as she approached. Their hands met, and in that moment, all the sacrifices, dreams, and second chances had led to this perfect day. As they exchanged vows, Daniel's voice wavered with emotion. "Emily, you are the love I never knew I needed. You've shown me that true success isn't measured in wealth, but in the laughter we share and the memories we create. I promise to love you, to cherish every moment, and to always choose us." Tears glistened in Emily's eyes as she replied, "Daniel, you've taught me that dreams can come true, even when we least expect them. I promise to stand by your side through every triumph and challenge as we build a life filled with love and laughter." As they sealed their vows with a kiss, applause erupted, and Daniel felt an unshakable sense of peace. This was the life he had once dreamed of, and now it was his reality. Years later, Daniel and Emily's home echoed with the laughter of their children, Sandy and Tommy. Their days were filled with family picnics, bedtime stories, and adventures in the backyard. Though Daniel never became the real estate mogul he once aspired to be, he built something far greater, a life rich in love, laughter, and fulfillment. On warm summer evenings, Daniel and Emily would sit on their porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of gold and crimson. With Emily's hand in his, Daniel would reflect on the journey that brought him here. The ambition that once consumed him had given way to a deeper purpose, to love and be loved in return. In the end, he understood that success wasn't about what you build in the world, it was about the connections you build in your heart. And in that, Daniel had found his greatest achievement of all. Their love story mirrored the dream that had changed him. Hope you enjoyed this story, Love Story by Green Tea Tale. Help our channel to grow. Please like, share, and subscribe.